How's it going, Gumi Gang, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing awesome. Now, today's video is a Warzone focused video, but it could also kind of bleed into multiplayer in some ways, but it's primarily Warzone focused, and we're going to be talking about the Lockwood 680, which is, of course, the Modern Warfare 3 pump action of the game. Now, this shotgun has a lot of great things about it, and it also falls flat in some ways, but I think that there is a new best way to kit this thing out that not really anybody knows about or tends to kit it out like this way, and there's a few different reasons why. But today, I'm going to go over what I think is probably the new best sort of loadout to run for this particular shotgun in general. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to check out the timestamps below for if you want to hop to a certain part of the video. And with all that being said, let's just get right into it. So here we are in the gunsmith for the Lockwood 680. Now, what you'll see a lot of people do, including myself, is they'll go in here, equip the sawed-off mod, they'll go in here and pick the biggest barrel we have, this one of course. We'll use something like the Crownbreaker choke because it's a great choke to use, and then maybe something like the Matuzek X-Ray skeletonized grip for better movement speed. And as you can see, it's a solid build, but unfortunately, if you look at that sprint to fire speed, that's not really super great for a shotgun you're supposed to be very mobile with. So what I've been doing instead is just completely removing the barrel. In fact, we're not going to even bother putting a barrel on this build now. I know that's kind of weird, but just trust me, and we're going to get into it. So take off this guard, and what we're going to do is instead of the sawed-off mod, we're going to use the X10 Tactical Match stock. The reason for that is it gives us a great boost to our tac stance spread and hipfire spread max, which is super great when you're moving, but also it helps with our sprint to fire speed and your movement a little bit. Now, granted, the sawed-off mod is better overall for mobility, but the thing about this stock is it unlocks the rear grip attachments, so you can actually use these two amazing grips, the FSS Ebenhawk or Ebenhawk tactical grip, as well as the Phantom grip. Now, if you're min-maxing sprint to fire speed, then you just want to go with the Phantom grip, but me personally, I've been rocking the tactical grip because I like the sprint to fire speed bonus, as well as the tac stance spread bonus, which is noticeable, and it is pretty nice to have, especially as a tac stance player. It can be very beneficial, so I always put on these two attachments like this. Then I'll usually go into the guard category, rock the Demo X40 Tactical Pump because it gives us a great speed bonus, or rather a sprint to fire speed bonus, so we're equipping that. And then I'll go into the lasers and rock the Kimura Ra 33 Laser Light. This is a fantastic laser to use for shotguns after its recent adjustments. It's not visible when you're hip firing, only when aimed down sights, and it gives us such a great boost to tac stance as well as sprint to fire speed. So if we put it on, and again, look at the sprint to fire speed bonus now. We have basically 113 where it was close to 200 with that barrel. So this has been the class that I've been rocking with pretty decent success. It's got great mobility. The only thing I don't like about it is the aim down sight's movement speed isn't particularly great. In fact, a lot of the other pump actions are much better at that than this one, but it's still a solid build. So does that really make this shotgun that good? Because I've seen a lot of people say it's the best pump action, but I tend to disagree. It's a pretty close call with the other pump actions, mainly because of mobility. Now, the thing about this particular shotgun that's so good is it deals so much damage up close. Per pellet damage, we're talking like above 50 damage up close, and then out to about maybe that 6.8 meters, I think it was, you'll be doing at least 200 damage per shot, which is basically 50 damage per pellet. So it's got a ton of pellet damage up close. Of course, that falls off pretty hard and pretty steep after 10 meters. You're only dealing like 68 damage, so it's like a 5-shot kill, which is kind of insane. That's really not even that far. But this thing is known for its pellet damage and how strong it can be with its just total damage output. It's ridiculously strong in that sense. But of course, it's limited by its mobility, which is kind of whack. When you compare it to something like the 890, it just kind of falls flat. Even the 800, I think they're much better shotguns overall because of their mobility, but this one's got a ton of damage. And of course, this one also does only have 6 pellets, which can get you killed, and it is going to be a little inconsistent. And again, the big thing I got to point out is the damage at range is pitiful. While the other pump actions can 3-shot at further ranges and hit really nice 3-shot ranges, this one, it's basically not going to happen. If anyone's past 10 meters, if they're running away from you, you're going to notice you crack their armor. They're about to die. You shoot them once, they're still alive. You shoot them twice, they're replating because you didn't do enough damage to actually hurt them, and then they end up getting the regain on you and kill you. It's happened to me plenty of times with this thing. If you're kind of chasing someone down, it's really not good for that. This is really, really for very, very close quarters, and because of how much pellet damage it can do, if you're just playing to that really, really close quarters, it can be such a good shotgun as as long as you're kitting it right and you're not slowing down your sprint to fire speed too much. Now, I would say this is probably the best class setup to be using for most people, especially for movement demons. This is probably going to be the best one so you're not limited by your mobility in terms of sprint to fire speed at least. Now, the other builds are still going to be fine. You can still use the sawed-off mod and some other attachments. It's just you're not going to get as much of a good sprint to fire speed bonus, which in my opinion is one of the weakest points of this gun, as well as the aim down sight's movement speed. But honestly, I think this is a solid build that a lot of people haven't tried. They're really ignoring this stock, and I really think you guys should try it out because it's got a ton of potential, and I think it can definitely maybe change your way on how you view this shotgun. Now, do I think it's going to make it the best pump action overall? I don't think so. It's still incredibly strong, but I will have a video covering all the shotguns and kind of talking about where I think they should be in the meta and all that stuff. I will have a video like that soon. It takes a little bit more work. So I wanted to give you guys a video like this to talk about the Lockwood 680 since I think a lot of people are sleeping on this particular build. But guys, that is pretty much going to do it for this video. So now, as always, down below in the comments, I want to know what you guys think about this shotgun and more about this build in particular. Do you swear by that sawed-off mod stock? Are you actually curious about this new stock and trying it with one of the grips? How other ways would you kit this shotgun out to be really good? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.